All right, good morning. I think it's 8:30 or something. It's gonna be a sunny day, beautiful. Today, May 22nd, 2026. Is that May 22nd? Yeah. May 22nd, Friday. My wife went to have a physical examination. I'm just waiting for her at home and getting some work done. And before that, I'm gonna read some books. Imagine you are being driven home from a cocktail party that was in the penthouse of a posh hotel. You remarked that you had a lovely time, and your designated driver asked you what you liked about it. The people. You say, but did your joy really stem from the fascinating repartee with that woman who wrote the bestseller about the virtues of a vegan diet? Or was it something far subtler, like the quality of the harp music, or the scent of roses that filled the room, or the expensive champagne you quaffed all night? If your response was not the result of true and accurate introspection, on what basis did you make it? When you come up with an explanation for your feelings and behavior, your brain performs an action that would probably surprise you. It searches your mental database of cultural norms and picks something plausible. For example, in this case, it might have looked up the entry why people enjoy parties and chosen the people as the most likely hypothesis. That might sound like the lazy way, but the studies suggest we take it. When asked how we felt or will feel, we tend to reply with descriptions or predictions that conform to a set of standard reasons, expectations, and cultural and societal explanations for a given feeling. If the picture I just painted is correct, there is an obvious consequences that can be tested by experiment. Accurate introspection makes use of our private knowledge of ourselves. Identify a generic social and cultural norms explanation as the source of our feelings doesn't. As a result, if we are truly in touch with our feelings, we should be able to make predictions about ourselves that are more accurate than predictions that others make about us. But if we merely rely on social norms to explain our feelings, outside observers should be just as accurate in predicting our feelings as we are, and ought to make precisely the same mistakes. One context scientists used to examine this question is familiar to anyone involved in hiring. Hiring is difficult because it is an important decision, and it is hard to know someone from the limited exposure afforded by an interview and a resume. If you've ever had to hire people, you might have asked yourself why you thought a particular individual was the right pick. No doubt, you could always find justification. But in hindsight, are you sure you chose that person for the reasons you thought you did? Perhaps your reasoning went the other way. You got a feeling about someone, formed a preference, and then, retroactively, your conscious employed social norms to explain your feelings about that person. One doctor friend told me that he was certain he had gotten into the top-rated medical school he'd attended for only one reason. He had clicked with one of the professors who'd interviewed him. The man's parents, like his, had immigrated from a certain town in Greece. After matriculating at the school, he got to know that professor, who maintained that my friend's scores, grades, and character, the criteria demanded by social norms, were the reasons their interview had gone so well. But my friend's scores and grades were below that school's average. and he still believes it was their shared family origin that really influenced the professor. Alright, that's amazing. I loved what I just read. I'm going upstairs and start working on my editing. Thanks for reading with me. That was a great chapter. 停止录像。